We received an interesting note. It said, "Dear Life is the Mission, I don't believe in God, so the 10 Commandments, or 10 directives, whatever you want to call them, have no impact on me." Wow. Thank you for your honesty. You don't believe in God. I wish we were face to face. I would have to respond honestly, which God don't you believe in? Maybe I don't believe in that one either. When I was 10 years old, my best friend and I decided to form a club. We had a clubhouse. It was located under my father's workbench. As a club, we decided it was necessary to establish rules that precluded people we didn't find worthy of being in our club. Of course, at 10 years old, "no girls allowed" was at the top of the rule list. It would only be a few short summers later that both of us felt that the no girl rule needed to be abolished, and we should welcome as many girls as possible into our tiny little clubhouse. Some people reject any concept of God because they have viewed God through the lens of a man's created God club, aka religion or denomination. For the record, friend, I don't believe in that God either. Let me tell you why. If you believe the historical 10 Commandments of God, or as I define them, God's 10 greatest directives, or awesome life hack directives, if you believe they were written to stifle your pleasure, then I don't believe in that God either. However, if you think that the Creator is out to get you with speed traps, you might have missed the point of the whole list. You bought tickets to see Billie Eilish in concert, and Billy Bob Thornton walked out on stage holding a banjo. Let's start. As recorded in Exodus chapter 20, in the first commandment, aka life hack, is this: "I am the Lord your God who delivered you from slavery. Have no other gods before me." That seems pretty straightforward. I can understand that any real God would want to be the chief God, as any person would want to be the chief person, the chief decision maker. But it is far more than that. Think about this. Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological response that occurs when hostages or abuse victims bond with their captors or abusers. This psychological connection develops over the course of days, weeks, months, or even years of captivity or abuse. The victim takes on the ideology of the oppressor. Now think about this. When the commandments were written, when the directives were written, these Hebrew people had been enslaved in an Egyptian slavery system, forced to worship 2,000 gods for over 400 years. In that time, they adopted much of the religion of their Egyptian masters. Can somebody say Stockholm Syndrome? Okay, think about that. The first directive, commandment, freed them from trying to please Isis, Osiris, Horus, Ammon, Hathor, Bastet, Thoth, Quebeth, Shishath, Heka, Neith, and Anubis, and the list could go on and on and on. The god of rain, Min, the god of fertility, Ra, the god of the sun. Perplexingly difficult was that the multiple gods who were believed to even fight amongst each other. How are you going to win? They were told these gods often demanded people to sacrifice their children in exchange for blessings. It is no wonder that when Moses went to the mountain, that the Hebrew people immediately went to work on a golden calf. They had been trained, programmed, Stockholm Syndrome, tutored, if you will, to create a god for anything they desired, and then sacrifice to secure an answer. Moses declares, with these tablets here, that God, Jehovah himself, has given the Hebrew people 10 axioms, 10 directives that would set them free from the life of their former captors. The first being, "I am the Lord your God, have no other God before me." It was a declaration that one should not return to the gods multiple of their slavery years. They were going to find, as I have discovered, the Creator is a freedom giver and has been freedom giving from the beginning. The Creator is not a tyrannical dictator, a killer of children, a moody assassin, or a bipolar demagogue. His laws are chain breakers, not chain installers. God says here, "I brought you out of slavery. I am the Lord. Have no other gods before me." That is saying, put the creator of freedom first. Put the creator of protection first. Put the creator of health first. Put the creator of joy first. The creator is here to bless you and not to curse you. The creator is here to deliver you from the slavery of the Egyptians or any other slavery system that will come along. You don't need to make deals with 2,000 different gods. I'm your one-stop shop God. Interesting. The life coach in me would remind us that gods can be more than just created statues. Gods are anything we lean on when we have a need. Sometimes gods can be a drug of choice or a secret that we would never want exposed. Either of these acts can become our own creation, our own God. In my personal experience, the multiple gods of this world always enslave and demand more. They always promise but never fully deliver. The gods of this world bring addiction, and addiction brings more addiction, and that addiction brings obsession, and that obsession brings abuse, and that abuse brings generational abuse. Before you know it, the whole thing is screwed up from what? From gods, religions, and those who seek to use religions as opium to control the masses. If you believe this narrative, the Creator carved in tablets of stone, "I brought you out of Egypt's slavery, have no other gods before me." You can trust me, I will not enslave you, I will free you. When you see the Creator God and the 10 directives in this light, I see the great hope and the love that is bound up in each one of them. And you might see it too in the next few discussions. Sure, but what about Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit law? To which I would say again, patience. We will get there. You'll be surprised that you might have been taught poorly. Until then, I will pass your great question by reminding you that Adam and Eve did not die, did they? God is a life giver, not a life taker. But more on that later. Go out this week in freedom to love and serve one another. We have nothing to be afraid of. We are all seekers trying to make sure that we find a good life and an eternal life. We are all beggars telling another beggar where we can find bread. That leaves no room for any anger or violence or vengeance. That leaves only room for extending our hands in love. See you next week. Peace.